Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here with a much awaited video. We are going to be talking about how to stake our zinnias. Now I grow a lot of zinnias. I've always grown a lot of zinnias from the start because I love them. They are so easy, they are so beautiful, relatively low maintenance as well, and admittedly staking is something that I don't really frequently do with my zinnias. In the past, I let them grow. Here in my growing zone in my yard, my zinnia plants can easily get maybe 6 feet, almost 7 feet tall. Last year, I had some zinnias. They were taller than the privacy fence, which is crazy. But nonetheless, they usually do okay without staking. I think this is mainly because I have this big tall privacy fence and it shelters them from the wind pretty well. And in most cases, I don't have any problems with them toppling over unless we have really strong storms. However, if I plant outside the privacy fence, they definitely start falling all over the ground. So this year what I want to do is explore the idea of staking my zinnias. Now, traditionally staking means like using stakes, obviously, like metal T-posts or something to hold plants upright. Now, since we have this large planting of zinnias, that's not going to be very efficient, I don't think. So what we're going to do, we are going to use some trellis netting for our zinnia supports. Ideally, I should have already had this trellis netting installed at the beginning of the season when the plants were still very, very small and growing. But, you know, it's been really hot. Things have been crazy here. I am way behind here in the garden. So we've put it off till the plants are about 1.5 feet tall, which is okay because they're still a little bit shorter than what we want when they grow up through the trellis. So we're not really damaging the plants that much. We're able to do it without damaging the plants. But it just took a little bit of maneuvering on my part to get it in here. The heat index is still through the roof hot, so you'll have to forgive me that there's no actual footage of me doing this. It's just one of those things that it was just so hot outside, I just couldn't deal with actually doing it and videotaping it and all the stuff. You'll have to forgive me. Maybe in the future I'll do an updated version. But I just want to show you generally what I'm doing. So I am using just regular trellis netting that I bought from the home improvement store. If you are a legit flower farmer and you want to do it that way, you can just use the horticultural netting specifically designed for use horizontally in cut flower production. We're just using the nylon regular ones. We're not that fancy here, and you know me, we're just gonna reuse what we've already got, saving money, all that good stuff. So all I'm going to do to get this trellis in is I'm just going to set posts on each of the corners of the garden bed as well as along down the side. As you guys might have seen in my dahlia video, a lot of my T-posts were stolen off my front porch and some got stolen last year out of my backyard. So I'm kind of limited on metal T-posts right now. So I'm just doing 2 at the end, 2 in the middle, and 2 at the other end. This is about a 30-foot flower bed. I know it looks a lot longer sometimes when we do these videos because of the camera lens, but it's only about 30 foot. There's about, I want to say, 5 packets of zinnia seeds in each of these rows, these long rows. As soon as things start growing and blooming, I think it'll look absolutely gorgeous, but we're just a little bit behind. Anyway, once I have done that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my netting, I'm going to stretch it out down the entire length of the row, making sure not to twist it up and tangle it up, because if you do that, it will be a nightmare to unravel, and you will be very frustrated and sweaty and hot and cursing. But luckily, that didn't happen today, so it's good. And I'm just going to carefully stretch it over the plants. If the plants are a little bit taller, like mine, as you see here, just be aware that it can kind of get tangled in there, and just be gentle when you're pulling it over the plants, and you shouldn't have any problems with breakage or anything like that. After I've done that, I've just secured the netting over the plants with zip ties. I'm not kind of nestling the plants in or anything. Ideally, I want those plants to grow up through the netting on their own, no help from us, and we should be good. I know it varies depending upon who you ask, how many layers of netting to put, and I know I've seen people with 3 layers of netting on zinnias before, and personally, I don't plan on doing that. I plan on just having this 1 layer. As far as I can tell, this netting, I've put it about 2.5 feet tall, maybe 3 foot tall here. And my zinnias get about 6 foot tall, just a nice halfway point, and hopefully that will be more than enough to just make sure that the plants are held up nice and strong, nice and tall, that we can use them for cut flowers throughout the entire year until either powdery mildew gets them or the frost arrives in the fall. I'm really eager to see all these different colors and watch the pollinators and watch the hummingbirds and everything enjoy the flowers. Some flowers, some of the zinnias, I don't stake. For example, I have the cupcake mix, the scabiosa flowered zinnias, and some of the shorter ones like the Aztec series zinnias. Those usually only get about, 2 feet, 3 feet tall. I do not stake those whatsoever. I just let them grow to be their cute little, tiny small selves. No issues with the smaller flowers falling over. Usually it's only the bigger flowers like the Ben Aries giants that start kind of toppling over and falling over. Those blooms get nice and big. Maybe it rains or something. They get very heavy and start to topple over. Usually I don't have any problem whatsoever with the smaller blooms. I mean, as I've said, I've grown a lot of zinnias, and I think staking really is kind of up to you. And of course, it will definitely vary depending upon where you live. If you live somewhere with very calm weather, maybe you won't need it. But if you live somewhere like me that gets a lot of wind, yeah, it's probably more likely that it will be a necessity. It's just one of those things. That's really about it for this video. I'm not quite sure if this one was helpful. As always, I hope that it was. I know it wasn't exactly a how-to, like showing you how to do. I did want to share the actual idea of what I'm doing and kind of show you after I've done it, because it seems to be helpful for some people. Have you ever staked your zinnias? What do you do to stake your zinnias? Tell me in the comments. I would absolutely love to know. Is there another alternative to using this horizontal trellis netting? Because I was trying to think of an alternative to this, and I really couldn't think of another way that somebody could do it when it comes to something like zinnias, since, there are so many of the actual zinnia plants. That's really about it for this one. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you. Hit that little bell icon too. It'll tell you whenever we post new videos and stuff like that. Be sure to share this video. Tell your friend about it. We're just trying to grow our little gardening community here, and what anybody who loves growing stuff is welcome, of course. Growing some flowers, some vegetables sometimes, DIY projects. You never really know exactly what I'm going to post next, so you might like that. I don't know. As always, the links to all our stuff is down in the description. There's a link to my blog. You can get more information and more pictures on everything that I post here on the blog. Check that out. Also have a link to Patreon that kind of helps fund the blog and take care of some expense things for the blog and the channel and whatnot. And here is a link to our soap shop, and there are some soaps, and hopefully we'll start offering seeds soon. So who knows what we'll have for you guys there on that website. I hope that you guys are having such an incredible day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye guys.